Hello, hello! Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and today is the first day of August. I am so excited because in my book, that means today is the first unofficial day of fall. If you're a fall girly, this channel is the place for you. I love fall. I wish it were year-round sometimes. I'm wearing a cozy sweater mostly for the video, just to embrace the cozy vibes. It is quite hot outside, but it's chilly in the house. And also, I thought it would be cute to match the book I'm going to be reviewing today. I have my light up birch tree back here, and I have my lovely pumpkin array, of course. The fun drink of the day actually does not exist yet. I haven't made a drink, but I can show you what I will be drinking later this evening. I have this lovely Mount Vernon mug that has been in my family since I was born. And then I have the Yogi Honey Lavender Stress Relief Tea. So later tonight I will be brewing this. It is evening now, so coffee is out for me, but I'm very excited to have my tea and maybe have a little evening writing session to end the day. I had a full day at work today, otherwise I would be filming this earlier in the morning, but I wanted to squeeze it in so that I can still get this video up with the schedule I have created for myself. I've been posting every other Monday. So this video will go up on Monday, August 3rd, and my next video will come out 2 weeks after that. I hope that is helpful to you. Without further ado, let's get into today's book. A Sea of Unspoken Things is the second book I've read by Adrienne Young. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I have about the same opinion on this that I did on Spells for Forgetting, which was the other book of hers I read. I also have The Unmaking of June Farrow here, but I haven't read that one yet. I remember being very, very excited for Spells for Forgetting, and I was excited for this one too. But I think for me, they both fell a little flat, and I think that they had the same issues. If you saw my last video, you know that I was very excited to read this book because I've noticed that one of Young's strong suits is creating very immersive environments for her books to be set in. Spells for Forgetting was Shersha Island, and in A Sea of Unspoken Things, the setting is, what is the town called? It is a very small town in Northern California among like the redwood forests. Six Rivers. The town is called Six Rivers, and it's meant to be a very woodsy, close-knit town where gossip spreads easily, spooky things happen, that sort of vibe. So I dove into this book really expecting that to take the forefronts, and it did, I think. I would say that that is still the strongest point in this book, but I still think it fell a little flat, and I don't think that that was enough to bring up my opinion of the book overall. I think I forgot to mention, but I am giving this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did rate it a 4 on Goodreads just because there are a few things that I think allow it to be bumped up, and you can't do half-star ratings on Goodreads. I preferred to bump it up rather than down to 3, but in my heart, this is a solid 3.5 star read. It was good. I enjoyed it while I read it, but there were some things I had complaints about. I wouldn't read it again, and I'm not sure if I would recommend it to many people. I think if you do like small town mysteries, it would still appeal to you, but just be aware that it's not going to be the same level of atmospheric as some other small town mystery things that I've encountered before. One thing I think that Young did really well, both in this book and Spells for Forgetting, was the overarching mystery that ties together the plot. According to the front cover, in this book, a woman investigates her twin brother's mysterious death while confronting the ghosts of her own haunted past. The novel follows James, who is a woman, and she travels home to Six Rivers from her life in San Francisco because her brother Johnny was killed in what was perceived to be an accident, but James has her suspicions that it wasn't after all, and so the book opens with her going to Six Rivers under the guise of organizing the projects he was working on. He was a photographer, and instead she is aiming to investigate his death and see if she can dig into what the real circumstances were and if there was anything suspicious going on. I won't give any spoilers, but untangling that mystery was pretty interesting, and I think there were some good plot twists involved in that I enjoyed. And also, in James's process of investigating her brother Johnny's death, she uncovers a second mystery that I thought was even more interesting than the first, and inherently entangled with the death of Johnny. So there were actually 2 mysteries to be solved by the end, and 2 plot twists. And I think that the plot twists and the timing of the end of the novel worked out very well, and I was satisfied with how the mysteries resolved. However, I think that up until that ending point, the book was very, very slow, and at times it was difficult to anticipate the next plot point in unraveling the mysteries because there was so much. It felt like filler. It felt like there was so much filler between plot points of the mysteries. You would get one little taste of what was going on in the investigation, and then there would be this big gap of what was meant to be James's personal development, but it didn't feel that way to me. So most of the book was very slow, and it took a while to get through. The other major fallback of this book, I think, is James did not feel very strong as a protagonist, and the other leading characters in the story also, I think, lacked depth. James's whole motivation was protecting Johnny and honoring him, and she regretted that they had not been in touch as much as they could have been in the months before he died. So she is trying to process her grief at the same time she's trying to process what might have actually happened to him. But aside from that, it didn't feel like there were many other driving points. There was this debate going on internally, mostly towards the end of the book, but I guess kind of throughout the middle, of whether or not James was happy with her life in San Francisco and whether she wanted to move back to Six Rivers. There is a side plot romance with another main character, Micah, and that is woven throughout the story, but that also didn't feel very strong. I don't think I could list or describe Micah's motivations or character traits. He felt extremely one-dimensional and seemed to be just there as a sounding board for James, as someone else who knew Johnny well, and as a romantic interest without much reason for it. They apparently had a history together before James left for San Francisco, and I never really understood why they were so attracted to each other and why there was so much tension when they were getting back together over the course of the story. I don't think that's a spoiler that they are romantically involved. I think from his first introduction on page 3, it seemed evident that Micah was going to be a romantic interest for James. There's definitely involvement between them, but that is as much as I will tell you about that. I know this sounds odd since Johnny was dead from the start of the book, but I wish that he had stronger character traits as well. We kind of learned more about him and more about his potential reckless behavior and mistakes as he ventured through life as the book goes on, but his main role was haunting the story. I would say this is a little bit of a ghost story. There were some moments that seemed almost paranormal in that James seems to have the psychic twin connection with Johnny, but it's so strong that she can almost see his ghost. And that starts on page 10, so that's not a spoiler either. But I thought that was pretty interesting, and I liked how Young incorporated that throughout the story. In that way, it felt more like a cozy town mystery than the lacking atmosphere would have you believe. Another complaint I have is I'm just not sure I enjoy Young's writing style that much. It's not very descriptive, and I am a big fan of very showy prose, and this writing style is all very straightforward, which is fine, and it'll be easy to digest for some people and just what some people are looking for, but I just don't think it's for me. I'm hoping that whatever's going on in The Unmaking of June Farrow is interesting enough to allow me to ignore that. And I would say, for the most part, A Sea of Unspoken Things went that way as well, but it wasn't enough for me to be able to bump this up to 4 stars permanently. So to wrap up, this was A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. I would give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I would recommend it to people who are looking for a quick and easy read that focuses on small town mysteries and a little bit of a ghost story. I don't think I have any more else to say on this book, so we will set that aside. I wanted to say happy early fall. I'm very excited to share more fall-themed videos with you all, and I'm hoping to be able to get into some shorts. I will be making some day in my life shorts, read with me, things like that. I am branching out now into strictly nonfiction. I might start another fiction novel soon, but for now I want to stick with the books I have. I'm midway through a couple different nonfiction books, and that's going to be slow rolling for me since I don't usually read nonfiction. So I'll be focused on those for a while, and then hopefully I will be back into fiction sometime soon. I think I still will do review videos on the nonfiction books, but they might be structured a little differently. I also do have some non-review content coming up that will be posted in the next couple months, so you can look forward to that. And I shared a little more detail about those in my last video. With that, I think that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Happy reading and happy harvest. Bye!